Hello, welcome to our channel Learn to Score. In this video, I am going to solve exercise 1 of 9th class real numbers chapter. I hope you will like the video. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Thank you. Question number 1. Write any 3 rational numbers, and part B is explain rational numbers in your own words. To answer the first part of the question, let me write rational numbers 22 by 5 minus 7 by 24 and 1 by 2. Right? We have written 3 rational numbers. To explain rational numbers, let's define the rational numbers. Rational numbers are defined as follows. The numbers that are expressed as p by q, where p and q are integers and q should not be equal to 0, are called rational numbers. In other words, I can say that the numbers that can be written as ratio of two integers are called rational numbers. The numbers that can be written as ratio of two integers. For example, in the case of 22 by 5, 22 and 5 are two integers. Minus 7 and 24 are two integers. 1 and 2 are two integers. But you have to note here that the denominator cannot be equal to 0. Though it is an integer, we should not have 0 as the denominator because something by 0 has no meaning. Got it? Now let's go to the question number 2. Give one example each to the following statements. First one is a number which is rational but not an integer. Second one is a whole number which is not a natural number. The third one is an integer which is not a whole number. The fourth one is a number which is natural number, whole number, integer and rational number. The fifth one is a number which is an integer but not a natural number. So to answer this question, let's quickly recall what does it mean by natural numbers, whole numbers, integers and rational numbers, right? Natural numbers are the numbers that include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and so on. These are the numbers used for counting various objects, right? When you have 0 along with natural numbers, those are called whole numbers. So whole numbers can be written as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and so on. And integers have negative numbers also along with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. The minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 and so on are also there, right? These are called integers. Now the rational numbers are the ratio of integers. We have already said that. You know, when you say ratio of integers, you have two integers 3 and 4. Their ratio is a rational number. Minus 3 and minus 4 are two integers. Their ratio is a rational number, right? Now let's start with first part of the question. That is a number which is rational but not an integer. You can write any rational number for that matter. 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, 2 by 3, 2 by 4. You know, all those are examples because we want to write a rational number that is not an integer. Got it? Now let's look at the second one, that is a whole number which is not a natural number. Look at these natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. Whole numbers also have all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. But only thing which is not there as part of natural numbers is 0, right? That is what is asked. A whole number which is not a natural number, answer is 0, right? Now let's go to the third part of the question. An integer which is not a whole number. Look at this. You have all these integers. These are not whole numbers, right? When it comes to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, these are all whole numbers, right? So to answer the question, an integer which is not a whole number, I can take any of the negative numbers. I wrote minus 2. You can write minus 3, minus 1, minus 4. Doesn't matter. The fourth question, a number which is a natural number, a whole number, an integer and a rational number. It means if you take one number, it has to be part of every set given here. Natural numbers, whole numbers, integers and rational numbers. Let me write it as number 3. For example, if you look at number 3, it is there in natural numbers, whole numbers and integers. And for rational numbers, I can write it as 3 by 1, right? Number 3 is equal to 3 by 1, right? For that reason, it is also part of rational numbers, right? So you can write 2, you can write 5, you can write 8. Now, the last part of the question is a number which is an integer but not a natural number. You look at this. Integers from 0 to -1, -2, -3, -4 and so on are integers, but they are not part of natural number series, right? So to answer the question, we can pick any of the negative numbers or 0 for that matter, but I have written -3 as the answer, right? Question number 3. Find 5 rational numbers between number 1 and number 2. We are given two numbers, 1 and 2. We are asked to write 5 rational numbers in between them, right? So the trick we have to take a note is 1 can be written as 1 by 1 and 2 can be written as 2 by 1, right? So the trick is, since we want to write 5 rational numbers between 1 by 1 and 2 by 1, let's express 1 by 1 and 2 by 1 as rational numbers with 6 as the denominator. Why 6? Because we want to write 5 rational numbers. I want to have 5 plus 1, that is equal to 6 as the denominator. How do we do that? For example, 1 by 1, if I multiply both numerator and denominator with number 6, I'm going to get 6 by 6, right? So look at this, the denominator is 6. That's what we wanted to write, right? We want to write 1 by 1 as a number, a rational number with 6 as the denominator. Now, 2 by 1 can also be made as a rational number with 6 as the denominator. For that, what I'm going to do is, I'll multiply both numerator and denominator of 2 by 1 with 6. When I do that, what I get is 12 by 6. The denominator is 6 again, right? Now, look at this. I can write this way, right? 6 is less than 7, 7 is less than 8, 8 is less than 9, 9 is less than 10, 10 is less than 11, 11 is less than 12, right? Why I have written like this? You look at the numerator. Numerator is 6 and numerator of this particular rational number is 12, right? That's why I have written the numbers from 6 to 12. Now let me write this way. If I divide every number with number 6, the same order is valid, right? 6 by 6 is less than 7 by 6, that is less than 8 by 6, that is less than 9 by 6, that is less than 10 by 6, that is less than 11 by 6, that is less than 12 by 6. Look at this now. We know 6 by 6 is 1, right? And we know 12 by 6 is 2. So how many numbers we have in between? 5 numbers, right? 5 rational numbers are there, which are in between 1 and 2. So to answer the question, let me write this. 5 rational numbers between 1 and 2 are 7 by 6, 8 by 6, 9 by 6, 10 by 6 and 11 by 6. Got it? Question number 4. Insert 3 rational numbers between 2 by 3 and 3 by 5. For this, I am going to make use of mean method, that is defined as if A and B are rational numbers, then the rational number in the middle of A and B is A plus B by 2, right? For example, you take 0 and 1. Middle is 0 plus 1 divided by 2, that is 0.5 or half, right? So using that idea, I'm saying if A and B are rational numbers, then the rational number in the middle of A and B is A plus B by 2. With the help of this, I can find a number in the middle of these two numbers, right? 2 by 3 and 3 by 5. Rational number in the middle of 2 by 3 and 3 by 5 is 2 by 3 plus 3 by 5 divided by 2, right? I said this is A, this is B. That's why A plus B by 2, right? Let's find what is the value of 2 by 3 plus 3 by 5 divided by 2. For that, let me first evaluate the numerator, that is 2 by 3 plus 3 by 5, right? 2 by 3 plus 3 by 5, look at this. The denominators of these two numbers are 3 and 5. What is the LCM of that? 15 is the LCM, right? Now let me write 2 times 15 divided by 3 plus 3 times 15 divided by 5, right? When you simplify it, it can be written as 2 times 5 plus 3 times 3 divided by 15, right? It can be further written as 10 plus 9 divided by 15, that is 19 by 15. Now what we got is value of the numerator of this particular number, right? Now let's find what is the value of 2 by 3 plus 3 by 5 divided by 2. That can be written as 19 by 15 divided by 2, right? It can be written as 19 by 15 divided by 2 by 1, right? Instead of dividing 19 by 15 with 2 by 1, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 19 by 15 with 1 by 2, because 2 by 1 and 1 by 2 are multiplicative inverse to each other, right? So when you do that, you get the answer as 19 by 30. You are multiplying both numerators and writing it as numerator, and multiplying denominators and writing it as denominator, right? 15 times 2 is 30. So now I can say that the rational number in the middle of 2 by 3 and 3 by 5 is 19 by 30, right? Now we got one number inserted in between these two, right? Now let me insert a number between 2 by 3 and 19 by 30. So the rational number in the middle of 2 by 3 and 19 by 30 can be written as 2 by 3 plus 19 by 30 divided by 2, right? Let's evaluate the numerator of this. 2 by 3 plus 19 by 30. Look at the denominators. These two are different numbers, right? That's why we'll find LCM of these two. LCM of 3 and 30 is 30, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the numerator as 2 times LCM divided by 3 in the denominator plus 19 times LCM divided by denominator, right? That can be simplified and written as 2 times 10 plus 19 times 1 divided by 30. That can be further simplified and written as 20 plus 19 by 30, that is equal to 39 by 30. You can divide both with number 3. When you do that, numerator becomes 13 and denominator becomes 10, right? That's what I have written here. So numerator of this particular ratio is 13 by 10, right? Now what is the value of 13 by 10 divided by 2? That can be written as 13 by 10 times 1 by 2, that is equal to 13 by 20. Now we can say that we have inserted one more number in between these two numbers, or in other words, we can say that I have inserted one more number between 2 by 3 and 19 by 30, that is 13 by 20, right? Let's write that. The rational number in the middle of 2 by 3 and 19 by 30 is 13 by 20. Got it? Now let's insert another number between 2 by 3 and 13 by 20. That is the middle number. 2 by 3, middle number of 2 by 3 and 13 by 20 is 2 by 3 plus 13 by 20 divided by 2, right? Let's find the value of numerator, that is 2 by 3 plus 13 by 20, right? Look at the denominators, 20 and 3, right? Their LCM is 60, right? Now I can write it as 2 times 60 by 3 plus 13 times 60 by 20, right? When you simplify it, it can be written as 2 times 20 plus 13 times 3 divided by 60, right? Further simplify and write it as 40 plus 39 by 60, that is 79 by 60, right? Now 79 by 60 is equal to the numerator here. What is the value of the whole ratio given here? That is 79 by 60 divided by 2. That can be written as 79 by 60 into 1 by 2. That is going to be 79 by 120. Now you can say that 79 by 120 is the number inserted between 2 by 3 and 13 by 20, right? Let's write that. So three rational numbers between 2 by 3 and 3 by 5 are 19 by 20. That is the first number we got. And the second number is 13 by 20. And the third number is 79 by 120, right? These three numbers we could insert using the mean method. Got it? Question number 5. Represent 8 by 5 and minus 8 by 5 on the number line. Look at this. Let me write 8 by 5. Okay. Can I write 8 as 5 times 1 plus 3? Right? 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3, right? That is equal to 8. So 8 by 5 can be written as 5 times 1 divided by 5 plus 3 by 5. Right? Now I can say that 8 by 5 equal to this becomes 1 and this is written as is. So let me write it as 1 plus 3 by 5. We know that 3 by 5 is less than 5 by 5, right? It means 3 by 5 is less than 1. So when you look at this number, you can say that 8 by 5, that is equal to 1 plus 3 by 5, that lies in between 1 and 2. The reason is that it is greater than 1 because this is 1 plus 3 by 5, right? Since 3 by 5 is less than 5 by 5, I can say that this is going to be less than 1 plus 1, that is equal to 2. So now the number line when you draw, you have to have 1 to 2 range, and since we want to even mark minus 8 by 5, we want to have minus 1 to minus 2 also on the number line. Let's draw the number line as shown here. The region of interest is from 1 to 2 and minus 1 to minus 2, right? Now since we want to represent 8 by 5, I want to divide the number line between 1 and 2 into 5 equal parts. Why 5 equal parts? Since denominator is 5, right? Look at this. This is first 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5 equal parts we made. 1 can be written as 5 by 5, right? 2 can be written as 10 by 5, right? It means this is going to be 8 by 5, right? This is 6 by 5, this is 7 by 5, this is 8 by 5, this is 9 by 5, and this is 10 by 5. So we have marked 8 by 5. So to mark minus 8 by 5 on the number line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the number line between minus 1 and minus 2 into 5 equal parts. I made 5 equal parts by marking 4 dots here, right? Or 4 lines here in the red color. Now look at this. Minus 2 can be written as minus 10 by 5, right? Minus 1 can be written as minus 5 by 5. It means this is minus 8 by 5. You look at this. This is minus 6 by 5, minus 7 by 5, minus 8 by 5, minus 9 by 5, and minus 10 by 5, right? So we could mark 8 by 5 and minus 8 by 5 on the number line with the help of this particular expression, right? We have expressed 8 by 5 as 1 plus 3 by 5. That's why we have marked the region between 1 and 2. Got it? Question number 6. Express the following rational numbers as decimal numbers. We are given total 8 numbers. In set 1, 4 rational numbers, and in set 2, another 4 rational numbers are given. We are asked to express them as decimal numbers. Let's start with the first one. That is, we want to divide 242 with 1000, or otherwise the rational number given is 242 divided by 1000, right? So to express in decimal form, what we use is long division method. For that, let's write 242.000 and so on. You can have as many zeros as you want and draw a line as shown here and write 1000, which is denominator, on the other side of the line as shown here. Now look at this, the number here you have 242, right? That is 3 digits, whereas 1000 is 4 digits. So 242 is smaller than 1000. For that reason, what I do is I'll multiply 1000 with 0 so that I can subtract 0 from 242. When I do that, what I get is 242 as the answer, right? Now look at this. We have dot here. This dot has to go as part of the quotient also, right? So let's write that. Now since we have put the dot, now let me bring down this 0, the first 0. So the number you have now is 2420, right? I can divide this with 1000 two times. 2 times 1000 is 2000, right? I want to subtract 2000 from 2420. So the answer is 420. Now let me bring the second 0 down so that it becomes 4200, right? Now 4 times 1000 is 4000. Let's subtract that from 4200. When you do that, what you have is 200. Now let me bring the third 0 we have written so that it became 2000, right? 2 times 1000 is 2000. When I subtract 2000 from 2000, what I get is 0 as the remainder, right? Now we are done with the division process, right? Now I can write it as, I can write 242 divided by 1000 as 0.242. So 0.242 is the decimal expansion for 242 divided by 1000, right? Now let's take a look at the second part, that is 354 divided by 500. Let's write 354.4 zeros. I have written 4 zeros, but you can write as many zeros as you want. And then write 500 here as shown. Look at this, 354 is smaller than 500. So 0 times 500. Why we are looking up to 354 is, up to dot we want to consider. For example, if you have only 54, then we'll consider only 54 before dot. For example, if you have 3540 before dot, we may consider all that, right? So 0 times 500 is 0. When you subtract it, the answer you get is 354, right? Now look at this dot. So we have to put a dot in the quotient also. Let me put that. Then bring this 0 down. When I do that, the number I have is 3540, right? So 7 times 500 is 3500. So subtract that from 3540. So answer you have is 40. Now let me bring this 0 down so that it has become 400. But 400 is smaller than 500, right? So what I'll do is I'll multiply 500 with 0 such that I can subtract 0 from 400. When I do that, I have 400 as the answer. Now let me bring the third 0 down so that it has become 4000. 8 times 500 is 4000. Let's subtract that. When you subtract, the answer or the remainder you get is 0, right? So I can write now the given rational number 354 divided by 500 as 0.708, right? Now let's look at the third problem, that is 2 by 5. 2.00, you can have more zeros also, divided by 5. So 2 is smaller than 5. So 0 times 5 is 0. When you subtract, you get 2 as the answer. Now the dot is there. Let the dot be present in the quotient also, right? Now bring 0 down. This becomes 20. 4 times 5 is 20. When you subtract, you have 0 as the remainder. So there is no point actually having more zeros. I could have only started with 2.0, right? But I have written extra zeros, no issue. So to answer the question, I can write 2 by 5 as 0.4. Got it? Now let's go to the fourth part of the problem, that is 115 divided by 4. 115.000 I can write, and then 4 as shown here. I can start with number 1 and say, it is smaller than 4. That's why I can go for, 0 times 4. Otherwise, I can say is, let me consider 2 digits, 11, right? So 2 times 4 is 8. Let me subtract 8 from 11. When I do that, I get 3 as the answer. Let me bring down 5 now. When I do that, I have 35, right? Now 8 times 4 is 32. When you subtract 32 from 35, you have 3 as the answer. Now you see we have arrived at the dot, right? It means I have to put a dot in the quotient also. Let me put that. Then after putting the dot, I can bring the 0 down so that it has become 30. So 7 times 4 is 28. Subtract 28 from 30 so that you have 2 as the answer. Now let me bring this 0 down so it becomes 20. 5 times 4 is 20, right? Subtract that, so answer is 0. So we are going to stop here. These two extra zeros I have marked earlier doesn't make any difference to the division process, right? Now let me write this as 115 by 4 equal to 28.75. So we have now expressed the first part of the problem, 4 rational numbers given as equivalent decimal numbers, right? Now let's look at the second part. We want to express 2 by 3 as the decimal number, right? So let me write 2.0000 and so on, and 3 as shown here. 2 is smaller than 3, right? That's why let me say 0 times 3 is 0. When you subtract, you have 2 as the answer, right? Now the dot has to appear in the quotient. Now I can bring this 0 down so that it becomes 20. 6 times 3 is 18, right? Let me subtract. When you subtract, you have 2 as the answer. Then I can bring another 0 down. So it has become 20. 6 times 18. 6 times 3 is 18. When you subtract, again 2 as the answer. You can bring down 0. 6 times 3, 18. When you subtract, again you get 2 as the answer, right? And there is no limit to it actually. So it goes on. I can subtract 18 from 20, again I'll get 2, and then it becomes 20, like that, right? So when you look at this, you see the quotient 6 is repeating, right? Let me write that anyway. 2 by 3 can be written as 0.66666 and so on, right? That is why this particular number is called non-terminating decimal, non-terminating and recurring decimal, because 6 is repeatedly coming, right? So it can be written in shorthand fashion, that is 0.6 with over bar on 6. When I write over bar on 6, what does it mean? It means 6 is going to repeat infinitely many number of times, right? Now let's look at the second part of the problem, that is minus 25 by 36. Let me consider just 25.4 zeros. I'm not considering negative sign here, but finally while writing we can make use of that. 25 is smaller than 36. 0 times 36 is 0. When you subtract, you have 25 as the answer. Then dot has to go, because we have seen dot here. Then dot has to go into the quotient also. Then I can bring 1 0 down. When I do that, I have 250. Now 6 times 36 is 216. Let's subtract that from 250. We have 34 as the remainder. Then let's bring another 0 down. it becomes 340. 36 times 9 is 324. You subtract that from 340. So answer is 16. Let me now bring another 0 down. So it becomes 160. 36 times 4 is 144. Let me subtract that from 160. Then I have 16 as the answer. Let me bring down 0. It is 160 now. So 4 times 36 is 144. When you subtract, again you have 16 as the answer, right? We have 16 here, then it has become 160. Again 16 here, 160. 16 here, it can become 160 when I bring another 0 down, right? So it is going to repeat. And in the quotient, we are going to get 4 in the repeated manner, right? Let me write minus 25 by 36 now as minus 0.69444 and so on. You see 4 is repeatedly coming, right? So in the other way, when I write minus 25 by 36, I can write it as minus 0.694 with overbar or on 4. It means 4 is a repeating digit. It is going to repeat forever. If you write even 1000 times, you can still write more, right? So that's the thing. So this is called non-terminating recurring decimal again, right? Now let's look at 22 by 7. I have put many zeros here after 22. Now 3 times 7 is 21, right? Let me subtract 21 from 22. So answer is 1. I have to, now we have come across dot here. So dot has to appear in the quotient also. Now I can bring 0 down. It becomes 10. 1 times 7. When you subtract, you have 3 as the answer. Then bring 0 down. It is 30 now. 4 times 7, 28. Subtract that. You have 2 as the answer. Bring another 0 down. 20 now, right? 2 times 7, that is 14. When you subtract 14 from 20, you have 6 as the answer. Then bring another 0 down, that is 60 now. 8 times 7 is 56. When you subtract 56 from 60, you have 4 as the answer. Now bring 0 down, we have 14, right? 5 times 7, that is 35. When you subtract 35 from 40, you have 5 as the answer. Bring another 0 down, you have 50 now, right? 7 times 7, that is 49. When you subtract 49 from 50, you have 1 as the answer, right? Look at this. We had 1 as the answer here. At this point, that's why we brought 1 0 down and it has become 10, right? Then, for example, if I bring another 0 down, it is going to repeat. The whole exercise from here is going to repeat in a cyclic manner, right? I'm stopping here and writing 22 by 7 as 3.142857 and so on. If you look at this, from here onwards, it is going to repeat, right? That is when we had 7. 1 times 7 is 7. That's when the repeat process started. That's why all these digits are going to repeat forever, right? So for that reason, I can write 22 by 7 as 3.142857 with overbar on all these 6 digits. Meaning when you write it, it becomes 3.142857, then 142857, 142857, and so on. It is going to repeat like that. Since these 6 digits are repeating all the time, we have marked a bar over all these 6 digits. Got it? Now the last part of the problem, that is 11 by 9. Let me write 11 as 11.0000 and so on. When you divide 11 with 9, 1 times 9, you have 2. 11 minus 9 is 2, right? The dot, we arrived at dot now, means dot has to go in the quotient also. Then bring 0 down. This is 20. 2 times 9, 18. Right? When you subtract, you have again 2 as the answer. Bring another 0 down. You have 20 again. Right? So 2 times 9, 18. Subtract. So you have 2 as the answer. Bring 0 down. So it's going to repeat like that. Right? When you subtract, so all the time you are getting 2, and in the quotient also 2 is repeating, right? Let me write 11 by 9 as 1.2222 and so on. So it can be also be written as 11 by 9 equal to 1.2 with overbar on 2. When I have overbar on 2, it means that the digit 2 is repeating infinitely many number of times. Got it? Question number 7. Express each of the following decimals in p by q form, where q is not equal to 0 and pq are integers. We are given 4 decimal numbers, right? We are asked to express those numbers in p by q form or in their rational form, right? Let's look at the first problem, that is 0.36. 0.36 is a terminating decimal, right? Meaning after 6 there are no other digits, right? After 2 digits, this decimal expansion is terminating. That's why we call it as a terminating decimal. For terminating decimals, we have a procedure to get rational form, and for non-terminating decimals, we have different procedure. So let's take a look at now for terminating decimal, that is 0.36. 0.36 can be written as 0.36 by 1, right? But this is not the rational number, because the p here is not an integer, though 1 is an integer, right? 0.36 is not an integer. So when you look at 0.36, we say that after dot you have 2 digits, 3 and 6, right? Since after the dot we have 2 digits, I'm saying that you multiply both the numerator and denominator of 0.36 by 1 with 100. Look at this, there are 2 digits, that's why we have 100, which has got 2 zeros. When you multiply it, it can be written as 0.36 times 100 divided by 1 times 100, right? When I have 0.36 times 100, then I can cross 1 0 and bring this dot here, right? I can cross another 0 and bring this dot here. So it becomes 36. 0.36 into 100 is 36. So denominator is 100. So what you have is 36 by 100. When you divide both numerator and denominator with number 2, you will get 18 by 50. Divide again that with 2, you get 9 by 25, right? So now I can say that 0.36 is 9 by 25. 9 by 25 is the simplest form of 0.36, or simplest rational form of 0.36. Now 36 by 100 is another rational form, 18 by 50 is another rational form, right? But 9 by 25 is the simplest form, because these two numbers 9 and 25 has only 1 as the common factor, nothing else. Got it? Now let's look at the second part of the problem, that is 15.4. 15.4 is also a terminating decimal. When you observe, look at this, 15.4 can be written as 15.4 divided by 1, right? When you observe 15.4, you can say that it has only one digit after the decimal, right? That's why let's multiply both numerator and denominator of this ratio with 10. Look at this, one digit, that's why 10. When you multiply, it becomes 15.4 into 10 divided by 1 times 10, right? 15.4 into 10 can be now written as, when I cross this 0, it goes like this, meaning 154, right? 154 by 10 is the answer. Both numerator and denominator are even numbers, right? So I can divide both numerator and denominator with number 2, so that it can be written as 77 by 5, right? So 15.4 can be written as 77 by 5. In other words, I can say that 77 by 5 is the simplest form of 15.4 in the rational form, right? Let's look at the third part, that is 10.25. It is also a terminating decimal that can be written as 10.25 divided by 1. Look at this. You have 2 digits after the decimal point. That's why we are going to multiply both numerator and denominator of this ratio with 100, which has got 2 zeros. When you do that, it becomes 10.25 times 100 divided by 1 times 100. It can be written as 1025 divided by 100, right? Both numerator and denominator can be divided with 5. So it becomes 205 divided by 20, and further divide both numerator and denominator with 5 so that it becomes 41 by 4, right? So to answer, I can say 10.25 equal to 41 by 4. In other words, I can say 41 by 4 is the rational form in its simplest form, but equivalent to 10.25, right? Now let's go to the last part of the problem, that is 3.25. It is also a terminating decimal. It can be written as 3.25 divided by 1, right? When you look at this, there are 2 digits after the decimal point. That's why we are going to multiply both numerator and denominator with 100. When you do that and simplify, it can be written as 325 by 100, right? Both numerator and denominator can be divided with 5. When I do that, I have 65 by 20, right? 65 and 20 I can divide further with number 5 so that it becomes 13 by 4. So 13 by 4 is equivalent to 3.25, and at the same time it is the simplest rational form for 3.25. Got it? Question number 8. Express each of the following decimals in p by q form. Look at this. You are given 4 decimal numbers. We are asked to express them as rational numbers or in the p by q form, right? All these are non-terminating recurring decimals. Please take a look at this, right? So 0.5 with overbar on 5 is a non-terminating recurring decimal because 0.5 with overbar on 5 can be written as 0.5555555 and so on, right? Since it is a non-terminating recurring decimal, we follow a slightly different procedure. Let me assume that x equal to 0.5555 and so on, right? When you look at this number, one digit, that is number 5, is repeating many times, right? That's why we say that periodicity of this decimal is 1, right? Since periodicity is 1, I'm going to multiply both the sides of the equation x equal to 0.5555 and so on with number 10. When I do that, it becomes 10 times x equal to 0.55555 and so on times 10, right? So 10x equal to 5.5555 and so on. Let me write that. Let me write x equal to 0.555 and so on below. And we want to now subtract x equal to 0.5555 and so on from 10x equal to 5.5555 and so on, right? When you do that, you see all these numbers 0.555 are there in both the cases, right? So after the dot you are going to get 0. Prior to that you are going to get 5, right? 9x equal to 5. It means x equal to 5 by 9, right? So I can say that 0.5 with overbar on 5 or 0.5555 and so on is equal to 5 by 9. This is in the rational form or p by q form, right? So let me write that 5 by 9 is the rational form of 0.5555 and so on, right? Let's take a look at the second part of the problem, that is 3.8888 and so on, right? That is also a non-terminating recurring decimal, right? Let's assume that x equal to 3.888 and so on. When you look at this, only one digit, that is number 8, is repeating multiple times, right? That's why we are going to multiply both the sides of the equation with 10. When I do that, it becomes 10x equal to 38.8888 and so on, right? Now I want to subtract x from 10x. When I do that, this side we are going to have 9x and this side we are going to have 35. You take a look at this. You know, when you are subtracting, you have to arrange both the dots on the same vertical line, and you have 888 and so on. Here you have 8888 and so on. When you subtract, you are going to get 0 after the dot, right? And 35 before the dot. So 9x equal to 35.0. It means x equal to 35 by 9, right? So 3.888 and so on equal to 35 by 9. So to answer the question, 35 by 9 is the rational form of 3.8 with over bar on 8. Got it? Now let's look at the third part of the problem, that is 0.36 with over bar on 36. It is also a non-terminating recurring decimal, right? So let's assume x equal to 0.36, 36, 36, 36 and so on, right? You see two digits 36, 36, 36 and so on are repeating. That's why what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this equation with 100. When periodicity is 1, we multiplied with 10, which has got 1 0. When periodicity is 2, we are multiplying with 100, which has got 2 zeros. Remember that. So 100x is going to be 36.363636 and so on, right? Now let me subtract x from 100x. Look at this. When I write like this, I have kept both the dots on the same line, right? So after the dot, you have 363636 repeating for both the equations. So when I subtract x from 100x, what I'm going to get is 99x equal to 36. So x equal to 36 by 99, right? So 3 is the common factor between 36 and 99. So that is going to be 12 by 33. Here, look at this. 3 is again a common factor, right? 4 times 3 and 11 times 3. So let me write it as 4 by 11. So to answer the question, 0.36 with over bar on 36 equal to 4 by 11. So 4 by 11 is the rational form for 0.36, 36, 36, 36 and so on. Got it? Let's go to the last part, that is 3.127 with over bar on 7. It is also a non-terminating recurring decimal, right? Let me assume that x equal to 1.27777 and so on. When you observe this, one digit, that is number 7, is repeating, right? That's why periodicity of the given decimal is 1. That's why I'm going to multiply both the sides of the equation with 10. When I do that, I get 10x equal to 31.27777 and so on, right? Let me subtract x from 10x. When I do that, look at this now, up to here, I have 7777, repeating. Here I have 27, here I have 12, right? Now 0.27 minus 0.12 is 0.15, right? And 31 minus 3 is 28. So 9x is 28.15. X equal to 28.15 by 9, right? So this is not the number we are looking for. We want to have both p, numerator and denominator, as integers. That's why what I'm going to do is, since two digits are there after the dot, I'm going to multiply both numerator and denominator with 100. When I do that, I get 2815 in the numerator and 900 in the denominator, right? Both have 5 as the common factor. When you simplify it, it can be written as 563 divided by 180, right? So to answer the question, 563 by 180 is the rational form for 3.127777 and so on. Got it? Question number 9. Without actually dividing, find which of the following are terminating decimals. We said that there are terminating decimals and non-terminating recurring decimals, right? For the rational numbers. So here we are asked to find which of the following are terminating decimals, but without actually dividing these numbers, right? Look at this. This is what you have to note. If denominator q of a rational number p by q is factored into only powers of 2 or only powers of 5 or powers of 2 and 5, then the decimal expansion of p by q is going to terminate. Right? For example, when you write q as product of its prime factors, then only if you have number 2 as the prime factors, or only if you are having 5 as the prime factor, or if you are having 2 and 5 as the prime factors, then the decimal expansion is going to terminate. Let's take a look at that now. First problem is 3 by 25, right? The denominator of 3 by 25 is 25, right? When you do prime factors for 25, you can write it as 5 times 5 or 5 square, right? 5 is the prime factor of 25. Since only 5 is the prime factor for 25, it is satisfying this, right? Only powers of 5 I could express. 25 is expressed as 5 square. Now, based on this definition, I can say that 3 by 25, when you write it in its decimal form, it is going to have terminating decimal, right? Let's write that. Decimal expansion of 3 by 25 is going to terminate. Now let's look at 11 by 18. For 11 by 18, 18 is the denominator, right? What are the prime factors of 18? 18 can be written as 2 times 3 times 3, right? This is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. That can be written as 2 times 3 square. Now look at this. Are we writing only powers of 2 or only powers of 5 or powers of 2 and 5? No, right? Because there are powers of 3 also. Since 3 is also a prime factor of 18, we can say that the decimal expansion of 11 by 18 is not going to terminate. Got it? Let's see the third problem, that is 13 by 20, right? 20 is the denominator. 20 can be written as 4 times 5 or 2, sorry, when you write it as prime factors, it can be written as 2 times 2 times 5, right? 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 5, 20. 2 square times 5. Look at this. We have powers of 2 and powers of 5, right? Since 20 has both 2 and 5 as prime factors, and we could express 20 as 2 square times 5, we can say that the decimal expansion of 13 by 20 is also going to get terminated. Got it? Let's look at the last part of the problem, that is 41 by 42, right? 41 by 42, the denominator is 42. Now, if you want to express it as prime factors, you can write it as 2 times 3 times 7. 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 7 is 42, right? Here 2, 3 and 7 are all prime numbers, right? That's why we call these as prime factors. When you look at this, we could not write 42 as only powers of 2. There is nothing like 5 here and powers of 2 and 5. So 3 and 7 are extra factors which are there, right? Since 3 and 7 are also prime factors for 42, we cannot express 41 by 42 in the decimal form, which is going to terminate. In other words, I can say that decimal expansion of 41 by 42 is not going to terminate. Got it? I hope you like the video. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel Learn to Score. Thank you.